Hi, it's Marissa, Kissa Creations, and today is Wednesday, May 20th, and it's time for another Flosstube video. Today is Flosstube video number 72, and it is a really exciting one for me. I have a FFO to show you, one that has been many years in the works. I got a page finish on full coverage. I went to Spring Mingle and met some amazing new friends, both Flosstube friends and others, and just got to chat with some friends kind of live in person versus just commenting and chatting on Instagram. And it's just been a really fantastic stitchy week, so I am so excited to share stuff with you. Welcome if you are new. This is a channel about cross stitch, and I am a part-time rookie designer and a full-time crafter. Welcome back if you are returning. I appreciate having you here and coming to sit and chat with me and check out my cross stitch for another day. So let's talk about the weather. It is in the mid 80s today. It's pretty warm. It was like that yesterday too, but Thursday and Friday last week we got 4 inches of rain. It was supposed to rain, but it was not expected that we were going to have that much. So we've been on kind of a wild ride of weather here in Maine, which I feel like is fairly typical for this time of year. It can get kind of chaotic. But it's really nice to have the warm weather, to wear sandals and shorts outside. We are dropping back down as of tomorrow, but I will be enjoying the weather today. I hope that with my microphone and everything, there's not too much background noise, but we do have fans running in the house. We have not put in our AC units yet. We try to wait until 4th of July, which with the weather cooling off this week, it seemed silly to put them in for 2 days, so we have not done that yet. So it is a little toasty in here. I'm a little bit warm, but we will get through this and we will persevere and we will continue having Flosstube videos even with warm weather, because that is what's important. Oh my gosh, our smoke detector just squeaked. Our fire detector, smoke alarm. I really hope that that's not an ongoing thing. If it squeaks again, then I will go and remedy that situation, hopefully. But let's get to some stitching. No, let's not get to some stitching yet. Really quick. We had a sloth birthday party for my daughter. She got a bunch of sloth presents. It was really fun. We went to Color Me Mine and painted pottery, and I will go pick that up for all the girls later this week when it is done being fired. And then the weekend and then yesterday was her actual birthday. We just spent celebrating her, going out to eat, letting her pick whatever she wanted. I definitely have the child who will, when it's available to her, order the lobster. So she ordered the lobster on Saturday at lunch. We had a really amazing outside dining day and just took advantage of the warmer weather. And then Sunday we had our birthday party. Monday I worked both jobs, so I wasn't really here at the house. But then yesterday after school we picked her up, brought her to the mall so she could do a Build-A-Bear and ride on those silly little carts that we always say no to. It was just like kind of a yes day for her, so it was really super fun. All right, now we can talk about cross stitch, because I'm too excited to dribble on about life stuff when there are these things to show you. All right, I worked on 4 projects this last week. 2 of them got very minimal progress, 2 of them got really amazing progress, and then like I said, I have a FFO that I am so excited to share with you. So we'll start with the 2 minimal work projects, and then we'll get into the bigger stuff. But I worked on my carpool project, which is a stitch in time, It is from a larger kind of double pattern. I'll post a picture of it here. And I work on this when I do carpool pickup, which with working 2 jobs, it doesn't happen as much anymore. My husband comes home and does the pickups on my normal days, because those are days that I now work a second job. So I only got 1 day of work onto this, but I did find the flosses I was looking for and put in this brown all the way up to the top. And I think I worked on a couple more letters, maybe. Oh, and I put in, no, I didn't put it in, but I found the yellow. It was not the yellow I was thinking it was. It's not Sunflower. It's Jingle Bells from Color and Cotton. So thankful for my description box, because it saved me from making an incorrect color choice. And I was able to find my little stash of flosses for this pattern that I had hid somewhere else. So this will just continue to get a little bit of work, but I don't think it's going to be my May finish, as I've only been working on it, like I said, at carpool pickup, and there have not been many of those days lately. So we'll see if there are any more. And then the other project I worked on fairly minimally was Museum After Midnight, which I need to get picking back up a little bit more, because I only put in 336 stitches, so it's still under 30%. I think it's at like 26 or 27% of the frame done. So I'll put a picture of what the finished frame is going to look like here. This is from Lola Crow. I am stitching it on 40 count Feldspar from Picture This Plus. And here's where we are at. All of this section is filled in and done, like for the most part, from here over and here down, but it needs the back stitch. So I'm gonna do that before I move my Q-snap, because I have learned that with Lola Crow, if you leave the back stitch, no, don't leave the back stitch. It's a bad idea gone bad. The back stitch definitely makes her patterns pop, but there's a lot of it, and you got to do it. You got to eat your vegetables on this one. So I will get this back stitch in hopefully in the next couple days, and then move the Q-snap and start working on some more of this pattern, because she did release a sneak peek of what the next pattern edition is going to be, and I just would really like I said, to have the frame completely done, so I'm not having to hop around and you know, work on the frame at the same time that I'm working on the releases. It just makes those releases like much more doable. This is a totally doable cross stitch in the time frame that she gives you. It does require some dedication. I have never finished a Lola Crow stitch along in the allotted time frame, but I have finished a Lola Crow stitch along. I finished the Deadly Aquarium. So it's doable, but I have not done it yet. I don't know if I will for this one or not, but I would, like I said, like to have the frame completed before she starts releasing the other portions of the pattern. All right, now let's talk about, before I show you my other 2 WIPs, which are exciting, let's talk a little bit about Spring Mingle. Spring Mingle is an online retreat put on by Stephanie Webb over at Lindy Stitches, and she does, I think, 4 right now online retreats a year. There's a spring, summer, fall, and like holiday season, so the Jingle Ball for like Christmas. And this was only my 2nd retreat that I attended. It's definitely, when it's not Jingle Ball, there's much less content to absorb, but it is still fantastic. It's still worth every penny of that $10. She is leaving the stitching rooms open for 30 days, which I think is kind of amazing. So I don't know, I'm thinking about popping back in there. If I saw you in Back to the Fuchsia, which was where I was hanging out during Spring Mingle, hi, hello, it was a pleasure stitching with you. I got to sit and chat with Catherine of Accounting My Stitches. I got to stitch with, the other accounted cross stitch. I got to stitch with her. I got to stitch with Jess at Sloan Stitching. I got to stitch with Andrew, the runner stitcher. We got to have, and I'm so sorry if you felt like we just dominated the room that night. We had an amazing conversation about full coverage. It lit up my heart. We just got to ask each other a lot of questions about the different ways that we stitch full coverage. And there is no right way, and it's so fun to hear about what is the right way for somebody else and like what they're doing. And he's doing a really amazing project right now where it's kind of a mystery project. He's not sharing what the pattern is, and he's doing stitch with me's, which are fantastic to have on in the background while you are doing other stuff. They're just so mellow and like soothing, and it's just very pleasant background, and then you get to learn about his stitching process. So I've really enjoyed that. I got to ask him questions about his kit up process for this kit and if it was working for him, and you know, kind of if there were any struggles with the way that he was storing his floss and things like that. He did a kit up video for this project too, where he showed us all how he was storing his flosses, and he has, you know, a bunch of needles ready to go and a bunch of flosses on thread organizers. And just check out his channel if you don't already. He's well above my subscriber count, so I'm sure if you're watching me you probably already know who he is, but if you don't, please swing on by and check out what he's got going on. It's really great. Laura at Mostly Crafty, I had a great time chatting with her as well. She was a new to me friend, and I absolutely loved chatting with her. She sews a lot as well, so there was just a lot of really great conversation in that room, really positive, really encouraging for other stitchers, and it was so much fun. And I just really encourage you, especially if you haven't gone to a retreat yet, this is a great kind of little stepping stone to sort of get you in. Those stitching rooms are kind of like your stitching table for the weekend, I feel, is how a lot of us have adapted them, going back into the same rooms and getting comfortable with that group of people that are in there. I got to watch Kai stitch on a beautiful full coverage. They got really close to like a page finish over the weekend, which was fun. And then I will just segue into that. I did get a page finish this weekend. So I put in 1,636 more stitches to Tiki Beach Sunset, and I got a page finish. So I finished this page up here, and it kind of, I think, started like here, it goes to here, and you can see where the bottom is because I kind of cut off that pink little paper lantern where it is. And this is where Tiki Beach Sunset is right now. So this is 64,519 stitches out of 362,408. It's at 17.8%. It goes all the way to the bottom on this side and all the way across up here, so that is how big the piece will be. But I will show you again kind of where it was. And I'll put a picture down in the corner of where that page was before I put that 1,600 plus stitches into it. But oh, this is by Aimee Stewart, the artwork. It's charted by HAED, and it is so pretty. It is so pretty. It's so much fun to work on. I will say though, like this was a lot of orange and rusts and yellows and browns, and I'm done with that color group right now. So I'm very excited to move down into this area right here. I am probably going to take a break and work on a different full coverage project for my 1,000 stitches a week this week. I have not decided what that is yet. I know that there are one that I haven't touched at all this year, and one that I haven't worked on as much. The one that I haven't touched this year is Witchy, so I might pick that up because it's kind of it's halfway to Halloween. So it would be good to get some stitches in on that one and just make sure that I have touched that project this year. This is a good time for that. So I might stitch on that one now and in October. It is a mini, and so it doesn't have as many stitches, so you get like some really solid progress when you get stitches added into it. So that 1,000 at a time will really make a difference percentage wise, and I think it will feel really, really good. It has a lot of stitches in it. I think it's around the 15,000 mark already, so kind of close to what this one has in it, but again, it covers more of the design area than the other ones do. Okay. And then what I stitched on mostly during Spring Mingle was Sally Spencer. So I'll put a picture of what that will look like when it's finished here. This is by Birds of a Feather. I bought it when it was re-released by the Colorado Cross Stitcher. And I actually almost got a page finish on this one too. So here is where this is. So the page goes to here, which is technically the second page, because I always start in the bottom, or I don't always start in the bottom right, but a lot of times I start in the bottom right. And so I've been kind of working up this way. So once I get this portion filled in, I'll only have like one partial page left. So this is my goal to finish for May. I was kind of sharing at Spring Mingle, and I've shared with you a couple times that I have had a finish already in January, February, March, and April. So I would really like to get a May finish as well, and this one's pretty close. It's on my year of WIPs list, so I would like to get the finish on this. But yeah, it is coming along. I am stitching this with my own conversion of flosses, which again is listed down below in the description if you would like to know what they are. It is a mixture of cotton and silk. I am not scared of mixing fibers, and I really love how this looks. The red is a Silks4U silk, and the light blue is an Almond M&Ms silk, which is absolutely lovely to stitch with. And I just love how this is looking. So I think it's on 40 count old Massachusetts linen from the Primitive Hare. That is where this is at. Okay. I framed Consider the Lilies. I found the perfect size frame at Michael's in the Oops section. This frame was $8. I'm going to show you what the Oops frame tag looks like at Michael's. Stick this here on my notebook. All right. So this is what the tag frames look like at my Michael's. They have the measurements of the open area listed on them, and then it's $8. Okay, an Oops frame is a frame that either was the wrong size they cut it the wrong size and had to start over again, or the customer didn't like how it looked at the end, or maybe they damaged the frame a little bit in the process. I have my Cryptid Sal is also framed in an Oops frame, and it had a little nick in the black on the corner. Do you know what I did? I colored it in with a black Sharpie, and you cannot see it. So that was an $8 frame. My recommendation to you is, if you're going to shop Oops frames or if you're going to shop thrift store frames, is to keep a running list of the sizes of your finished projects on your phone in the Notes app. Just take all of your projects and measure what their finished size is and keep that on you. And then if you're only shopping Oops frames, like I said, those have the measurements on them, so you'll be able to see if it's going to fit very clearly by looking. I do take it over to this is the other part. If you're going to stitch thrift store frames, keep a tape measure in your bag, your shopping bag, your purse, your whatever as well, so that you can measure. I do double check their frames. I bring them over to their new fabric section at Michael's and I kind of put them on their fabric board and I just make sure that it's true. That the size that it says on the frame is actually the size that it is. Because you don't want to get home and be sad. Also, if you don't have your list with you, don't buy the frame. I have a lot of frames that are not quite the right size, that my eyeball said they were the right size, and usually I'm a good eyeballer. Like, moving rooms around and things, I can tell if something's gonna fit. My husband's like, measure that, make sure it'll fit. I'm like, that's gonna fit. Like, we can totally move that to this area. And I'm rearranging rooms. This has stemmed since I was like probably 11 years old. And you know, when my parents told me to be asleep at night, I was rearranging my bedroom into a different configuration than it already was. And they would wake up and be like, what were you doing? Or there was a lot of noise and they were like, what are you doing? I don't measure when I move things. Sometimes I don't even measure when I buy things. I'm like, oh, nope, that'll fit right there. With frames, I have amassed quite a collection of frames that are not quite the right size. I will probably still use them and they are wonderful quality frames, but if you don't have the space for it, just, you know, unless it's something you can't pass up and it's absolutely wonderful. I mean, and you frame a lot of your own stuff, I would kind of hold off on that. Otherwise you might end up with a really big collection of odd size frames, which I have, and they're very nice frames, and so someday I hope to be able to fit things in them. I actually haven't measured it yet, but I think one of the frames I picked up for Consider the Lilies will actually fit Tiki Beach Sunset in it if I ever finish it, so I will probably be able to use it for that. But it is a large frame that's just going to be hanging around my house, so make sure you have a assigned spot for your Oops frames. Oops frames can be found at Michael's, usually near the framing section, but sometimes not. I would ask a store, if you don't see them or you don't see an area for them, I would just definitely ask an employee, especially one in the framing department, where they have any Oops frames or if they have any Oops frames. I think you can also ask them for Oops foam core and they might sell it to you as well if that's like already cut for certain things. This piece did not have a large enough, there was not a large enough foam core available at Michael's that was not from the framing section, and I could have had them cut it for me, but Abby at Abby Bella Stitch, she told me that she found really large foam core at Staples. So I went to Staples and I got a piece of really large foam core and I cut it, and now I have Consider the Lilies finished. All right, so I think that was enough chatter about it. I think that now I should show it to you. So here she is. Let's see, we're finally way back. You can get her all in the picture. I finished this early this year when Rebecca over at Beck Stitches Everything and I just got on it and encouraged each other and said, we are going to finish this year. And so, oops, there's fuzz. So we both stitched in our initials and the year and got to work, and we both finished it. I think hers is off at the framers right now, so I think in her next video we will probably see her Consider the Lilies fully framed. I still need to put hanging hardware on here, and I need to tape the back. I am going to show you what the back looks like, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about framing stuff. But yeah. It's so good. It's so good. I told my husband today, and I used some expletives, which I will not use here, but I cannot believe I got this frame for $8. It is flipping perfect. I took a picture of it and sent it to him when I got it done, and I cannot believe how perfect. I mean, it is almost the same, like it's almost the same distance on all the sides. It just is magic. It's magic. This is stitched, okay, so this fabric is not, I don't even know if it's cross stitch fabric. It's like kind of a polyester. It's very soft. I'm going to be stitching Wise and Wonderful, All Things Wise and Wonderful on this as well, which I'm going to start next month. So that's another reason why it was really important for me to get this totally done. But it ended up being like a 37 count. I stitched it 1/1 full cross with the fancy floss. I will be using the fancy floss for Wise and Wonderful as well. Oh, that was another person I talked to at Spring Mingle, was Jason X Stitches, and we chit-chatted a bunch about this pattern as well, because he has started this. He is stitching in the DMC, but we talked about some of the animals and like what they were and trying to figure things out. But yeah. Okay, I'm going to show you the back. So it is pinned and laced. And so this is what the back looks like before I cover it with, I'll cover it with tape, or like brown paper and then tape. And I'll probably put a little label on it. She does provide in the book like a little label that you can photocopy, but I already gave my pattern away and I don't have that. I do have some like little finished plate stickers from Lindy Stitches that I'll probably like stick onto the paper. But so that's what it looks like. I laced it with my cone of DMC Blanc that I have, and then I have a point driver. I actually bought that last week, so I'm going to show you that too. But it was only like $30. I'm going to link it below. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to link the one I got below, because I was reading some of the reviews, and some of the point drivers, like of course the cute like pink one that you can get, the reviews were like, this doesn't come with directions on how to load it, which definitely isn't super difficult, but this one came with everything. It was like very easy to use, and totally worth it if you're going to do any of your own framing. It came with flexible points, so these can be kind of, you know, bent and the piece removed if needed. Like if I didn't care for how it looked framed. I got really lucky on pinning this one and lacing this one. It just worked out extremely well. I didn't really have to move anything. Sometimes you kind of have to finagle a little bit, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. So there's the back. Framing's not hard, folks. It just takes a little bit of patience and some trial and error. This is now, I don't even know how many pieces I framed, but now I finally have a point driver. I borrowed Helen D's for my cryptid sal when I finished it, and I was like, that's easy to use. It's like a staple gun. A little scary for like a hot second, but not too shabby. All right, so let's really quick talk about the staple gun. It is called a Flex Point Tacker, and it comes with a little box of 1,000 flex points. I used, how many on this one? 12. So I've got plenty of framing in my future for this. So it came with that. It came with this really detailed description of all of the parts that the point driver has. It also marks vulnerable parts with a little triangle, which I think is fantastic. If you did have to take this apart and put it all the way back together, I think you could, which I don't plan on doing. All right, so it looks like a staple gun. And you just put it on your fabric and you push it up against the frame, and then you pull this and you push down at the same time. Now, it's a little scary because it kind of like pushes your frame because it's forcing that point into it. So you're like, oh my God, my frame gonna break. It's not. It's gonna be fine. When I do it, I do one in each side first. So I do the first one, and then I do the one across from it, and then I do that one, and then I do the one across from it. And then I kind of put in all of the other little points. But it came with really easy instructions on how to load and how to drive your points. It does recommend safety glasses and gloves to protect your eyes and hands, but as long as you use it correctly, you will not hurt yourself, I don't think. But you want to pay attention while you're using it, and you want to not push the buttons because it does, you know, really force that point in there so that it can get into the wood. But it holds your project into your frame. No duct tape required, which I thought was really great. So that was my adventure in framing this week, and I'm really, really proud of this project. I can't wait to get it up on the wall. Once it's up on the wall, take a picture and post it on Instagram for you to see there as well. I've been bad about posting progress pictures on Instagram. I think mostly because I like set it to also post on my Facebook, and I need to unset that because it's just, I don't know. I don't really post on Facebook anymore. I just use it for like being parts of cross stitch groups, and now it like shares my cross stitch with all of my family, which is fine because my Facebook is mostly family and like close friends, but it also is like, I don't know if they even want to see that. Like if they want to see that, they can come to my Instagram. That is like very much just my crafty stuff. And then I just want to share with you two things on the M. Creations patterns front. I recently restocked Reese at the Crafty Grimalkin with the Blueberry Stitches pattern. So if you're looking for that in print, it's not available digitally yet. So you can get there at the Crafty Grimalkin, but you can also get it at the Threaded Needle in Massachusetts. I didn't see it on her website yet, but I'm sure it will be up there soon. But I know that she will have them in stock. I mailed them on Friday last week, so she either has them in hand or they will be there soon. But check out the Threaded Needle as well. So I will link both of those shops below if you're looking for M. Creations patterns. They have some different ones. So yeah, if you're looking for something in print, those two shops definitely have some M. Creations patterns available for you. And I'm gonna call it a day. I think that was totally enough. Cross stitch is definitely making me a happy camper this week, and I hope that it continues. I have another busy week of work, but I've got the weekend off and we don't have any big plans except a birthday party that one of my girls has to go to. So I am expecting another decent week of stitching, and I will see you next week with another update. Talk to you later. Bye.